Nearly all UK bank accounts charge a whole load of expensive fees for using them in a foreign currency. Currensea is a new travel debit card that links directly to your main bank account but minimises those fees. That means if you're going away or buying online, you don't need to worry about setting up a whole new account, transferring money or topping up prepaid cards. Just use this card instead of this one for more secure, cheaper foreign spending from the same bank account you've always used. On top of that, Currensea can use those savings to plant trees on your behalf, automatically offsetting the environmental impact of your travel as you go along, making this a unique travel card I've been really interested to explore. In this video, I'll be fully explaining how to set up a Currensea account, use the card and reviewing its features before comparing it to other travel money products. First of all, I'm aware the vast majority of us aren't travelling right now. I was actually first contacted about this review way back at the start of the year, and then the pandemic hit, travel ground to a halt, and I haven't really had the chance to test it properly. However, now that some travel is starting to open up, I thought we could look at Currensea in anticipation for when we can all get away again. And in any case, it is also very useful for ordering online from abroad. I'm passionate about helping others with the practicalities of travel, so reviewing and comparing travel finance is something I've done plenty of. But what makes Currensea unique to all those other ones I've compared before? Well, it's the simplicity of it. It isn't a new account, it doesn't require extra money management, it links to your current bank account through open banking regulation. This means you just have to use the Currensea card for a foreign transaction. Currensea converts the purchase at a great rate and then charges your normal bank account in pounds sterling, avoiding any expensive charges from your bank. Or at least that is the sales pitch. So let's look in detail at how we actually set up an account and use the Currensea card. After inputting basic personal, contact and account details, you get onto choosing which bank you wish to link your Currensea card to. Be aware that you can only use Currensea with one bank account at a time, but it can be changed at a later date if needed. It also can't be linked to a credit or savings account, so I've chosen my Halifax debit account. Obviously, this setup process will look slightly different for every bank, but the general idea is to first allow account sharing between your bank and Currensea, and then set up a direct debit authorization. This allows Currensea to check your bank account has enough funds to make a transaction, and then actually take those funds once it has finalized it. Annoyingly, this setup process does require you to log into your bank twice to allow each of these permissions separately, but the purpose of redirecting you to your own bank website is to keep everything secure and ensure Currensea never actually has access to your online banking credentials. So whilst this initial setup feels slightly clunky, it's with good reason, and after that setup very minimal input is required. Currensea is Financial Conduct Authority regulated and authorised for open banking, so it offers the same level of security for your information as your bank does. Once you are all linked up, the final step is to choose which plan you will use, free or premium. I'll come on to properly comparing the two later, but the basic difference is that the premium plan charges a subscription fee instead of a small markup on transactions. I chose the free plan, however you can upgrade at any time to the premium one. Just be aware that the premium plan is for a 12-month term, so if you do decide to downgrade, you will still have to wait until that 12-month term has ended before you are actually moved off it. The actual card, which I have to say is pretty smart looking with a sparkly sheen, takes 3 to 5 days to arrive in the post, with instructions on how to activate it. This involves logging in online and inputting a verification code sent to your phone, as well as the security code on the back of your new card. The final part of activation is to choose how much of your savings will automatically go towards planting trees. As someone passionate about the environment, I think this is a really interesting feature to automatically link the environmental impact of travel with offsetting it. Basically, Currensea works out how much it has saved you on every transaction you make, and then, if you choose to, automatically donates a portion of those savings to planting trees. It does this by partnering with One Tree Planted, one of the world's leading reforestation organisations, and one I have used myself before. Basically, for every 75 pence of Currensea savings you donate, one tree gets planted. Again, the percentage you donate can be adjusted at any time or stopped entirely, but as a feature, I think this is a fantastic way to automatically be offsetting your travel as you go along without having to think about it or donate a large sum in one go. If you stick around until the end, I have a referral code which will plant 6 trees if you decide to sign up with it. The most complicated stuff is pretty much over. The beauty of Currensea is that there really isn't much to using it. When going away or ordering online from abroad, just use this card instead of this one. Every time you make a transaction, you will get emailed a transaction summary informing you of the retailer, cost, exchange rate, and final charge to your bank account, as well as the estimated savings and how many trees it has helped plant. All of this can also be found on your dashboard when you sign into your account. When I first got Currensea, they only had a website. However, they now have a good iOS app and have informed me that Android will follow very shortly, probably by the time you're watching this. Whatever the platform, the experience is very similar, with details about your transactions and savings and areas to adjust both your account and card settings, all being self-explanatory and very easy to use. Like many cards nowadays, you have the ability to freeze and unfreeze your Currensea card or even limit certain types of transactions under card controls. It's worth mentioning on the security front that all your transactions are also covered by the Mastercard Chargeback scheme, meaning this can help you reclaim refunds if your goods do not arrive different or damaged, or the merchant ceases trading. On your actual bank statement, transactions will appear as Currensea, followed by the merchant name. The final cost charged to your bank will obviously already include the savings made minus any contribution to tree planting. Okay, so let's at last get on to probably the most important factor. How much does Currensea cost? What are the exchange rates? The free Currensea plan has zero fees other than 0.5% markup on the wholesale exchange rate. They use the interbank exchange rate for euros, US dollars and Swiss franc, which is typically the best rate, and Mastercard's rate for all other currencies. There's also no additional markup at weekends, but any ATM withdrawals over £500 a month will incur an extra 2% charge. For £2.50 a month or £25 a year, the premium plan completely removes the markup and lowers the charge on ATM withdrawals over £500 a month to just 1%. Now, as a very rough comparison of those two plans, that would require you to spend about £500 a month overseas on the premium plan to make back that monthly fee, or £5,000 in a year for the annual fee. Obviously, that depends on how much you use an ATM amongst other factors, but it gives you a general idea of the cost effectiveness of the two plans. Please also bear in mind that all of these rates are for spending in foreign currencies. This is a card solely designed for using abroad, which I totally forgot about as soon as it arrived and I made a transaction in pounds. This actually costs 20p per transaction, which they reminded me of in the summary email after making it. So just remember not to use it whilst at home, and if a merchant abroad asks you what currency you wish to pay in, make sure it is in the local one to avoid a terrible exchange rate and that 20p fee. And now for the follow-up question. How exactly do those rates compare to other travel money products? Is it actually worth it in terms of savings? Well, broadly, yes. It obviously offers significant savings on your usual bank account that it links with, and is even very competitive with other travel money products and banks. One thing I liked straight away when I started investigating Currensea is that they are very transparent about the cost. One of the main pages on their website goes into detail comparing their rates versus other banks and travel money cards, with detailed explanations of how those figures were reached and links to all their competitors' fees. This has almost done my job for me, with Currensea premium and free plans coming in cheaper than high street banks, travel money products, and even most challenger banks. The scenario used for these comparisons is based off $1,600 of card spending and $400 of ATM withdrawals on a weekend. So let's actually compare this in more detail with some of the top travel cards featured in my other videos. Most use the Mastercard exchange rate, which is slightly worse than the interbank one and somewhat levels out the markup added by Currensea. Those that do use the interbank rate, like Revolut, generally add an extra surcharge at the weekends too. And most also have a lower monthly limit or charge more for ATM withdrawals. Because of these factors, Currensea beats nearly all competition, coming almost equal in value to one of my favourites, Starling Bank. Yet, if we change the scenario to someone spending in Japanese yen on a weekday with no ATM withdrawals, then Currensea starts to lose those advantages. Because we're not spending in US dollars, euros or Swiss franc, the exchange rate has changed to Mastercard, but still has that 0.5% markup, whilst travel cards like Revolut are no longer paying a weekend surcharge. However, it has to be said that the vast majority of UK tourists spend in euros and US dollars. They tend to go over weekends and will use a mix of card spending and ATM withdrawals. For most trips abroad, the £500 ATM limit a month is also more than enough. So for most people, the scenario Currensea have provided on their website is actually pretty representative. In that respect, I personally think Currencea's rate has struck a pretty good balance for the majority of people and the majority of trips. It's not the absolute best rate for every single kind of trip. One card may be better for spending on weekdays and another may be better in a particular currency, but overall the Currensea card offers great, simple value for all your travel without the need for any extra financial accounts. So, based on cost alone, Currensea offers some of the best value foreign spending and withdrawals across multiple travel scenarios. In fact, the only other product that consistently beats it seems to be Starling Bank. I myself use Starling both at home and abroad anyway, but for many people out there, setting up and managing an entirely different account likely won't be worth it. Remember, when I do these comparisons, that the difference in exchange rates can be as little as a couple of pence most of the time. As long as you aren't using your normal high street debit or credit card abroad, which have huge fees, the difference between the top travel cards is negligible. And at that point, the question should be, what service do you prefer? If you don't want a fully fledged alternative bank account like Starling, Monzo or Revolut, then I think the idea of Currensea as a streamlined extension of your current bank is perfect for most people. All your money remains in your normal bank account, all the transactions still come out of that account. You just get a separate card to use abroad, which saves you money and stops anyone from stealing your real bank card details. On top of that, you can choose to automatically help the environment through the savings you are making. If all that sounds good and you do want to try out Currensea, then please sign up using the referral link down in the description and comments. For transparency, I will earn a small commission from the link, which helps me to make these videos, but as always, I don't let that affect my opinion. I wouldn't even bother with the review if I didn't believe in the product myself and think it was worth sharing. While signing up, you can also enter my promo code JBLUCV, and Currensea will plant 3 trees for me and 3 for you as a nice little environmental bonus. Let me know if you have any questions, and thanks a lot for watching.